On episode 66 of the Fantasy Weekly podcast, we managed to talk about some actual fantasy football. Firstly, it's all about Project Restart. Will the Premier League return, and what does it mean for FPL? After that, the panel reflect on their best FPL moments. Remarkably, Ben Dinnery actually has one. All of that, plus loads more, on this week's lockdown episode of the Fantasy Weekly podcast. Hello listeners and welcome to the Fantasy Weekly podcast brought to you by footstock.com. Listeners, it's week 6 of UK lockdown, in case you've lost count, but what's that on the horizon? It might just be a light at the end of the bloody tunnel. I'm not talking about the Premier... Stop laughing, Dave, already. I'm not talking about the Premier League potentially coming back. I'm talking about the fact that Greggs is reopening. Whee!
Get in!
Come on, sausage rolls, vegan or meat.
Been dying for a wee sausage, man.
Coming back. The first sign of normality. No, I am talking about the Premier League potentially coming back. Project Restart is what they're calling it. Project Restart. Sounds like a Windows 95 troubleshooting tool, doesn't it, Dave?
Why'd you say Dave there?
Well, because... no offence to the others, but... Actually, well, Ben will definitely remember Windows 95, won't you, Ben?
Dave was still in nappies.
Yeah, Dave's still in nappies, yeah, 93, yeah. Ben actually went to school with Bill Gates.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We're going to be talking a little bit about Project Restart in this episode, and we're also going to be reflecting on our best, happiest FPL moments, which is nice, isn't it? Before all of that, though, we need to introduce our panel. Holly, of the House Shand. Wagwan.
What was that? How long did you spend writing that, James?
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Quite a while.
You can't just hit that shit out, bang that out in the
Quite a
first
while.
2 minutes.
That was one of the best intros I've ever written.
You could have warmed me up first.
Sorry. I was just getting straight in there.
I don't even know what to say. I've got nothing to say to that.
What does one say to Wagwan? I don't know. How are you, Holly? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Feeling a lot more positive this week. Went for a nice walk in the countryside today with Bobby. That was good. It's really cute because people in our village keep leaving like old kids' toys out for other kids to have, getting rid of their junk, and I'm just collecting toys, disinfecting them on the way home.
I was going to say, that sounds like a conduit for coronavirus spread to me.
I mean, I am running out of antibacterial wipes, but it's keeping us going. And tomorrow, I'm going out, Tesco click and collect.
What?
Oh my God. Does it get more exciting than that?
No.
We just end the pod there. I think we just end the pod there. Finish on a high. That sounds good, Holly. I'm glad to hear that you're having a good week so far, especially compared to last week where it was, I mean, with all due respect, there was a reason why we didn't want you saying that much because it was all... it was all doom and gloom last week. But here you are, walking on sunshine, the Katrina and the waves. Love it. Ben Dinnery, also here. Why I, Ben?
Well,
What does why I mean?
Arit. Hello,
Oh,
g'day,
all right.
why I?
And what do those things mean?
Good, yes.
Okay, good. So you would say the answer to why I
Are
is
you
I'm well.
Are you Arit? Why I?
Yeah, okay, cool. Good. So you are well.
Why I?
Good. Okay. Right. All right. I'm confused. But good, thank you. Dave.
Is that it, like? Is that it? Just, hold on. So you have a half-hour conversation with Holly and I get that shit?
Well, Ben, have you got anything you want to share?
No, not really. But
Well,
it
there we go.
would have been nice to be asked. I mean, look, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my Footstock portfolio as it happens. Footstock, proud sponsors of the Fantasy Weekly show.
Get in there.
Well done, it's remembered the name of the podcast.
I know, I had to stop there.
The Fantasy Weekly show.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah. Not quite right, but...
And I tell you what, there's some serious money to be made through Footstock. Portfolio is going through the roof.
Is it, mate? Do you have a portfolio?
No, well, pity all the players are all bonus players that are expensive.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, that's because you haven't actually bought any actual players yet.
I have.
Okay.
I've got Mahrez 1150, Williams 772. I had 3 Hendersons, at 9.50, but I think I blew a couple of them on the roulette.
Okay, yeah. Story of your footstock career so far, eh?
Spunked. Yes.
There it is.
5
Straight
minutes.
in there.
Well
Well
done.
done, Ben. Well done, mate. Thank you again you are Footstock's second best ambassador on this podcast, behind the actual ambassador, Holly Shand. FPL Dave, the worst Footstock ambassador, although maybe not for much longer. Let's not speak about Footstock for a second, though, because I do want to ask you how you are since we last spoke 15 minutes ago when we were doing a stream together.
I am very chilled out today. I got a lot done in the house. I went for a walk and left all my old toys out for people to pick up.
You cleaned your fridge, didn't you?
Yeah, I cleaned my fridge today.
Did you leave out any kind of old food as well?
I chucked a shit ton out. I didn't realise how much shite we had in there, to be
God,
honest.
I dread to think.
And then, yeah, cleaned the house, cleaned the fridge, had a bath today, watched a movie in the bath.
God, this is furlough, cleaning your fridge and having a bath.
Mate, it was honestly, I feel like I've just done a good job, and I gave myself a wee bath as a treat. I never have baths.
How long was you in the bath for?
Like an hour. An hour and 15 minutes. We've got one of those awesome wooden things that go along the bath, so you can put your laptop on it and your phone.
Oh, I love those.
And I had a wee Corona, had some biscuits and some crisps. It's fucking good. It's good times.
It's the first time Dave's washed since pre-lockdown, so it's about
since
time.
I've met you.
Yeah.
He is looking clean, to be fair to him.
Yeah, look, you can tell that I had one of those hair bands on while I was moisturising my head, because all my hair is sticking up. See?
Okay. Well, I was about to do a Footstock promo, but Ben, maybe you want to do it, given you're so evangelical about the platform at the moment.
What can I say? Footstock, it's the place to be. If you want to make some real money, invest in Footstock.
My word. Footstock.com sponsor this podcast. They've already got a fairly decent plug, haven't they? I'm going to give them one more. I've been banging on about them now for about a month. That's how long they've been sponsoring the podcast. Did you listen to me, listeners? Because things are going mad at the moment. Holly, how much did you sell Bruno Fernandes for today?
£99.98.
How much did you buy him for 2 weeks ago?
£35.05.
So
at the moment, I'm absolutely loving life, but probably in 2 weeks' time, it'll be 200 quid, and I'll be thinking, what have I done? I've still got 2 left.
Well, that's good. That's
I've got
good.
3 Brunos or 2 Brunos. Can you play the same player in on the team? Can you do duplicates in one team?
No, not in one team. You can play them simultaneously in different tournaments.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay. So if you're playing a tournament and you want to play another one, you could use your duplicates on that one.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing if you could do them all on the same team. You could have 6 Bruno Fernandes up front.
It's helpful. It's helpful to have duplicates so that you can, because often Footstock will run simultaneous tournaments. So that's why Holly wanted to collect them in part, I suppose. And well done. Congratulations on your big sale, Holly.
Thank you.
And it is a reflection of what is going on at Footstock at the moment. It is absolutely flying. We've had the best weekend we've ever had. There's a little podcast exclusive for you there, listeners. There are no guarantees, of course. Do be gambleaware.org. But if you're aged 18 or over, it's a good way to pass the time. It's a good way to support the pod. You might make some money, and you'll definitely have some fun. So I would recommend it. Of course. You get a free $5, you'll get a 25-player pack, and you'll get 5 free fancy tournament coupons just for signing up, listeners. Give it a go. Dave's on the precipice of doing exactly that, aren't you, Dave?
Yeah, I want to stream it, though. I want to stream me doing it and fucking it up. I think it'll be quite funny.
I'll stream with you, Dave, and then I'll keep you on a straight and narrow before you do anything stupid like Ben Dinnery would do.
Yeah, it's ultimate trolling, to be fair, though. You could absolutely be like, no, put a Rashford in this roulette thing. Yeah, no, 32 people, you'll definitely win.
I won a Rashford on a roulette.
Oh, did you? Do you want to stream with me?
And then lost him on the next roulette.
Yeah, I lost him.
Right, okay. Well, maybe the second stream when I figure out how to do it and stuff.
Ben, guess how much Rashford is currently selling for?
Well, I had him, it was 15 quid, I think.
He's currently £54.
What? But wasn't he 30 quid yesterday when the guy did the $2,000 thing?
Yes, he was.
He's went up 20 quid in a day.
The market's flying. What can I say?
I'm trying to buy him for 35 quid. I might need to up that offer.
So you don't have to buy him at that price, Dave. So you can put in bids. And
okay.
You can potentially get him cheaper than that.
So what is that buy price representing then?
That's the cheapest that someone is currently willing to sell him for. But that could go down. It could be that someone really needs to get rid of their Rashford and puts him in there for 40.
Right, okay, I see. Right, okay, I've got like 50 questions, but we can't keep talking about it.
No.
Sorry, continue.
We'll get to it. Holly! You've got a maths question for us, I understand.
I sound like I'm the one that's in trouble. If you get this wrong now, James, you're the one that's going to be in trouble.
I want to hear you raise your voice.
Yeah, well, it's Mrs. Shanty.
Holly, don't push my buttons.
Right, definitely non-calculator this week.
Right.
Have you got your pens and papers ready? James has just got his brain. He doesn't need pen and paper. But I know that once I've read the question, he'll ask me 3 questions about the question.
She knows me well.
Right, I'm ready.
Right. Jerry drove 315 kilometres from London to Leeds. His average speed was 75 kilometres an hour. Work out how long it took Jerry to drive from London to Leeds, giving your answer in hours and minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay, I've got it.
I think I've got it as well.
Give it to Dave.
No, I don't want to do it first. Go.
4 hours and 12 minutes.
Right. Dave, what did you get?
I got the same, but that I feel like you're...
No.
No, you're right. You're right.
I
was just
okay,
waiting.
cool, awesome.
James, you're the king of the mental maths.
To be fair, Dave got that at the same time, so I think we'll give that one a draw. Ben, where's Ben? Is Ben still in his pod?
Yeah, I'm still here. I got it, but I was
too slow.
Yeah, fastest finger.
I thought you cleared off Ben for a second there, mate.
No, you know what I was doing? I was just looking at my footstock portfolio and seeing how much money I had made in the last 5 minutes.
You really are the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I'm a giver.
I mean, honestly. Yeah. Let's get on to Project Restart, our first topic of discussion. I'm going to read the BBC synopsis of what Project Restart is, and then we're going to discuss it a little bit. They say Arsenal, Brighton and West Ham have opened their training grounds to players for individual work on Monday. The league is hopeful of a potential 8th of June restart and finishing at the end of July to fit in with UEFA's European competition plans. This would require full training to begin by 18th of May. Top flight clubs will meet on Friday to discuss options for the restart. It's being called Project Restart. Ben, I'm going to come to you first on this one, mate. This is how the BBC says Arsenal players are going to be training, okay? Players will arrive in groups of 5 to do individual sessions, stretching and running with a ball. 10 pitches will be used, so players do not come into contact with each other. Each player is assigned their own ball. Players are on a rota and told where to park. Buildings at the training ground are closed. The club feels that training at Colney is safer than in parks where players are being asked for selfies. My question to you, Ben, is a simple one. Is this worth it?
It sounds like just a logistical nightmare, doesn't it?
Right? Tell me about it.
Look, on the flip side, would an hour at London Colney in a proper training facility, is it better than working in self-isolation at home through a Zoom conference call? 100%. So in that respect, I think in terms of getting players out and about and back in with the squads, you can still have that little bit of a competitive environment. So you're going to get more of a workout, players being able to push a little bit harder. But, are we talking about, players being able to somehow get ready to a level where they can compete, for the resumption of the Premier League? Then probably not. You talk about a typical pre-season 5-6 weeks maybe. At best, Premier League squads may have around about 3 weeks to prepare.
They're saying 18th of May for full training to begin. And that would be ahead of an 8th of June start. So that is, exactly 3 weeks.
So, I mean, I suppose the one big difference between the two is, typically a 5 to 6 week pre-season program would be the cornerstone of a full campaign. What we're talking about here is 3 weeks to prepare for, 9-10 domestic fixtures possibly, and some maybe other games in and around that. And FIFA have put a proposal forward as well that they may allow sides to up to 5 substitutions per game to help combat, fatigue and to ensure better recovery, lower injury incidence and burden on squads, because that's going to be the biggest concern heading into this, this short spurt of games within such a close period of time. And you want to make sure that that doesn't carry over into 2020, 2021.
Sometimes I feel like FIFA make decisions without even thinking about fantasy football players.
Yeah, sounds awful, doesn't it?
Unbelievable.
5 subs.
Oh, God, can you imagine? It's nauseating.
It'll be like 45 minutes there. It'll be like, oh, yeah, change half the team for the second half. It'll be like a friendly.
Don't. Dave,
you're
a manager who, prior to hiatus, wasn't having the best of FPL seasons. I'm being diplomatic here.
I thought he done really well. Really, really well.
Thank you very much, Ben. I appreciate it. One day you'll be in the top million, just like me.
Dave, are you sort of hoping that the football doesn't return?
Oh, no. I'm absolutely learning more in this. I've never been this shite before in FPL. Like, I've always had really good seasons. Particularly because I've only played 2 seasons. So the first one went really well and I didn't really learn much. And then the second one, it went really badly. And I've learned a lot more than I did the first time. So the fact that this is still kind of like I don't know how to finish with a bad season. Do you know what I mean? Like the end game, I still haven't played yet. So it's like kind of finishing a game, like a PlayStation game, and getting 3/4 of the way through, even though you're not playing very well. But you kind of want to finish it so that next time you play it through, you know all the places to go and all the bosses and how to beat them and shit. So I kind of want to finish the season, even though I'm doing badly, so that I can understand how to play it if I'm in this position again.
Beautiful analogy.
Thanks. That's all I've got really in life is computer games.
That was great. And a respectable answer that, Dave. You're unlike the Norwich fans who are like, please don't come back. Please write it off. Holly, how do you feel about your question is harder than Dave's.
Okay.
How do you feel about the prospect of playing out the rest of the season without blank and double game weeks? Because my thinking here is that there are potentially demographics that could suffer, specifically those who have been saving their chips for these expected double game weeks that may not now come. How do you feel about this? What do you think the implications might be for FPL managers?
Well, I feel like as FPL managers, we're just going to be happy to have it back. Like, I don't think anyone's going to care too much about blanks or double game weeks. We're just going to be really, really happy to have a game week. Obviously, there's going to be winners and losers if it comes down to not having blanks or doubles, but surely there's got to be something at some point, because some teams have 10 fixtures remaining and some teams have 9 fixtures remaining. So.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't even think about that.
This is a hard question, Holly, but it's probably only because I didn't really think it through.
That's a really good point, yeah.
We're assuming that we're actually going to be able to play FPL. Like, isn't it technically going to be finished, their little run? And we've already seen that they can't really, stop the game.
Something has happened now. I think... they've managed to stop like the last couple of game weeks being game weeks.
It only took them 6 weeks to figure out how, but they managed to do it.
I did call that. They were gonna like, make the very last one just a massive long one.
36, 37, 38 all say none for fixtures. So I think we're gonna get like game week 36 to 44.
Oh man, could you imagine if they do if there's 10 fixtures left, say, they're going to do the first 3 for the 1 game week, the second 3 for the second game week, and the last game week 38, is going to have 4 different game weeks in it.
Well, if we're having 5 subs per game, it's not even going to matter, is it?
I imagine putting your triple captain on a 4 game week. That's mental.
Oh,
And you guys used yours.
Just when I thought I couldn't
Mane.
be any more bitter about that Mane injury.
That is so good.
That would be. I'd rather the FPL not come back. I mean, I know I respect the virtuosity of both of you in saying that all you really want is the football to be back and for the FPL to be back, and that would be enough. But for me, no. If they pull any shit like that, I'm going to be angry.
I think to make it fair, they give everyone a wild card before it starts, like the Sky thing, and they just unfortunately
neutralise the whole thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you haven't used your chips, you don't get them. Like we're not giving anyone any chips. You get a wild card and that's it, and then move on. Because if half of the people have their triple captain, half the people don't. Like and if I knew that there was going to be a fucking 4 game week,
there's not going to be a 4 game week.
But
that's not going to happen. There won't be.
That would be such a bizarre solution.
They've managed to stop it. They'll be able to add more weeks on.
Think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know a huge amount about developing, but I feel that's got to be within their capabilities.
I know a little bit.
Okay. Well,
really difficult,
yeah, to be fair,
especially considering there's a lot of players playing right now. Like there's 7 million people logged into this season, and to add on extra ones, what if they need to restart it so they can't do that? Like that's
what
difficult.
If football returns and FPL is so messed up that they can't get it going again?
Mate, honestly, that would be best case scenario, I think.
At least there's footstock.
At least there's footstock on it, exactly.
That's James, it's time for an improvised footstock advert. Go.
Yeah. We've had so many this episode, though.
I said go.
Every 2 minutes. Footstock is booming. Rocket emoji, rocket emoji, rocket emoji.
Boom, boom, boom.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for your thoughts, guys. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be carnage, whatever happens. I'm expecting the internet equivalent of burning car carcasses in the street and people looting shops and smashing windows and stuff. But I'm sure there will be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And there are, as Dave has already said, 7 million wills willing on the return of FPL. So let's hope that we get it sooner rather than later. Project Restart for the win. Let's rename the Fantasy Weekly podcast the Project Restart podcast until it's...
Mate, let's rename the project name, because that's a shit project name.
I didn't even know the first name, man. Never mind renaming.
Yeah, that's it. Ben's only just got to grips with Fantasy Weekly.
We could rename it to the Fantasy Weekly Show. Just so it kind of matches his amazing promo.
I like the Fantasy Weekly show, actually. I think it feels quite wholesome.
It's just the Fantasy Weekly. We could be a show, it could be a podcast. We've streamed it a few times.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's
gender fluid.
Ben, do you want FPL to restart based on where you are in the millions? In life.
Look, the overall rank, like I always try to put forward, it doesn't really bother us. It's about mini leagues and it's about head-to-heads and it's about the possibilities of cashing in on some of my side bets, and they're going quite well, believe it or not. So there are a few players out there who are actually crapper than me.
6 million of them.
So yeah, I've still got skin in the game. So why not? I'm a gambling man.
Speaking of which, no, I'm
joking. Even my husband's excited about the football coming back. He came downstairs from work earlier. He was like, "Have you seen Premier League's going to be back on the 8th of June?" I was like, "Is it one of these Daily Mail articles you've been reading?" He's like, "Oh no, it's proper. It's on the BBC." And then he said he said he's going to watch every game and he might even start doing his team.
Oh, that's cute. Do you think he's doing that just because you're into it?
No, he hates it. He hates football.
That's love. That's love. Maybe he just really gets off on the fact that it's called Project Restart, which it sounds like an Avengers film to me. Like it sounds like what would come after Endgame. Project Restart. Avengers. Project Restart.
Oh man, we need to think of a better name. Does anyone have one off the top of their head? Project Restart is just the worst.
I like Project Restart.
You like it? Project Restart.
It's what you tell old people to do when you're giving them IT support.
Project off and on again.
The small one underneath the big one.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, does your desktop not have a little small restart button underneath the big switch on button?
Oh, it depends on your tower.
Maybe they've changed since the 90s, which is the last time I had a desktop. But
ask Ben.
yeah, Ben. In the 70s, what the computers looked like.
Ben, those jokes get really old, mate. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Mine had a tape recorder actually.
What?
A Spectrum.
On your computer? Had a tape recorder?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they used to load the game, you just have to press play.
See, Dave, it's interesting.
Spectrum 128K+2.
Wow.
20 minutes to load Football Director.
I always thought these were just jokes we were making about you. You're actually ancient.
One of our regular listeners, Rushy, suggested that we discuss our most pivotal FPL moments on this podcast. And I thought that was such a good idea that we should spread it over 2 episodes. Because let's face it, we need the content right now. So today, we're going to do the panel's best ever FPL moments. And then next week, we'll be doing our worst ever FPL moments, which I imagine are going to take much longer to go through. Dave, we're going to start with you here. You've only been playing for 2 seasons, so you don't have a particularly deep treasure trove in which to dive, but what are your fondest memories?
I say I've been playing for 2 seasons, but I've been playing seriously for 2 seasons. You know, everyone kind of got into it. They made a team, they never looked at it again. That was my first 2 years, and then I thought I'll do it properly this year. And the very, very first week of my proper season was absolutely amazing. I think I hit 90 points or 92 points. I was in the top 100,000 right off the bat. It was a really, really good feeling picking these players and them coming to fruition. There was I put Schlupp in my team the first week. And that was because Crystal Palace, and I can see you guys were smiling. Holly went what? We smile there.
No, I'm not. I remember everyone having triple Crystal Palace defence. Wan-Bissaka, Schlupp, and then someone that actually sounded okay.
Yeah, I had Schlupp and I had Wan-Bissaka in the first week, and I did that because Schlupp had been playing out of position for the last 5 friendly games because someone was injured and he was playing in the wing, and then I put him in my first week and he scored, and I immediately took him out again because that guy came back, whoever it was, and he only played another 60 minutes and then he was on the bench forever. So I brought him in for 1 goal and I took him out immediately after that. And it's the thing that I think of the most when I think of FPL is bringing fucking a random Schlupp in and then him getting something.
When I was planning this podcast and kind of imagining what you might say, I did not think that Schlupp would come up, and I'm really happy that he did though.
It's always the weird ones where you're like, oh, I transferred this random player in that no one was really talking about, no one really knew who it was, and he bangs for a couple of weeks, then you get rid of him after everyone starts bringing him in, and he starts to do shit, and it's kind of validating in both ends of his life for you. And that was Schlupp for me.
That very rarely happens. You were lulled into that full sense of security, Dave, and alas, you peaked too soon, you might say. It's never been quite as good since, but...
Ings was a close second, mate, honestly.
Oh, of course, yeah. Good. Thank you for sharing, Dave. Let's move on to the next member of our group, Holly. Holly, what is your fondest FPL memory?
Well, this is a really difficult one for me because FPL has given me so many great life experiences. But if I just talk about my best ever FPL game week.
Yeah, not meeting Jules. Obviously it would be meeting Jules, but yeah.
Close second.
Yeah.
My best ever FPL game week was the first season that the chips came in. So I think that was 2015-16.
Oh.
And it was double game week 34. Played the bench boost, had the dream, 15 players playing twice, 184 points.
No.
And I ended up finishing just outside the top 5k that season after a really bad start. So that's got to be the highlight for me.
184. Was that your highest ever game week rank, do you think? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was.
Rank? Yeah, okay.
I've probably got it saved on my computer somewhere. If I
Wowee! Congratulations.
Be a geek.
Congratulations from 5 years ago.
This is
I think the game week rank was 1,037, which
I mean, that's very good.
You'd think it would be better than that, wouldn't you? But yeah.
But
No, it's
on
really
a
good.
double game week, you are going to get slightly higher scores. But yeah, that is good. And there was still, I mean, I don't know how many players were in that season, but there must have been over 1 million. So you were still in that very, very top percentile.
Was that the Leicester season?
Yeah, and I didn't actually have any Leicester players.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can I do an FPL experience as well, or is
Oh
that
yeah,
gonna be too
please do.
self-indulgent?
No, please.
Well, I know Ben wasn't around at this point, but I did feel like FPL had got to a good place in my life when we went for our London trip to the FPL Christmas drinks. And I turned up at the Airbnb. James was already there in his loungewear. We watched Pointless and got drunk on cheap gin before Dave and Mr. General turned up. And then, yeah, it was a great night. And I just thought, from playing some geeky game online that none of my mates understood what on earth fantasy football was, to meeting up with random men from the internet for a sensible night out. It was pretty good.
Ah, you're getting me all emotional, Holly.
It was really nice. It was a great time. It was really weird having people coming up to you and being like, I know who you are, and you being like, I don't know who you are. It was really strange.
It was like The Stranger on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Except throughout every single conversation, they were saying things like, "You're so tall," constantly.
Yeah, that was the biggest shock.
They didn't say that to me, James.
Yeah, it's true.
No.
Yeah, Ben, you really missed out, man. Ben, let's hear your. Well, have you had any good FPL moments? I mean, you must have had to really scrape the barrel for
It's
this
an early
one.
man, isn't he?
What's the most money you won?
Well, you
50p.
yeah. I don't know who's listening to this podcast, so I have to be very, very careful with regards
Oh, we're not allowed to. All right, sorry. Mum's a word. I never asked that.
No, Sergio Aguero predominantly was involved in most of my happiest moments, FPL.
Mm-hmm.
Probably counterintuitive, actually. I think I triple captained him against Newcastle when he scored a hat-trick. I think that was back in 2018. So that was a bittersweet. So obviously the result goes against it, but ultimately it comes down to the fantasy. So that was a good day. And in last season, you know what it is? I think last season generally, I mean, I've been playing now since, I'm just having a look at my history actually, 2011-12, but the first couple of years, we were just non-serious, didn't really pay much attention. And last season, for the first time, everything seemed to fall in place.
Wait, we're talking about the season that is currently on hiatus.
No, 2018-19.
Sorry,
He was
right,
mixing it with the
say.
big boys in the top 1 million.
Whoa. 33,000, thank you very much.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's a decent finish. Now, I
Not
want
as good as me or Dave, but...
or James. You say that,
Or
right?
James.
But think about this. How weird is it, right? Because when I seen James's history for last year, he doesn't talk about it ever. But look at his little smug, stupid face. He actually got a better overall rank than everyone here. Like, he beat everyone last year.
Oh, that was
Toss up.
cracking.
And I'll do it again this season.
Oh, wait, look, you got to text his ex last to confirm that.
Oh, yeah,
Dave,
use a
thank you so
calculator.
much for that. I'll slip you that tenner later, yeah?
It was annoying. Like, I laughed because you went, I think I was like 2,000 and something last year. And I laughed because I thought he was kidding on. And I checked and he's fucking not lying.
Is that what we're 2,000?
2343. He's got it tattooed on his bicep.
I thought,
Fair play.
I think I came
Fair
4K and I was like super
4K?
hyped. 4,000. Yeah.
I only came 6k.
All right, there you
Yeah,
go.
those are all okay. They're just not as good as me.
I wish I hadn't fucking mentioned anything. Fuck's sake.
Ben's there, 30.
33, yeah?
33.
Ben,
Oh,
Holly's
yeah.
got a bigger dick than you, mate. That's how that goes.
To be fair, most have.
Oh, we'll always have Newcastle, though, won't we?
Aye.
Aye.
And Greg's. And Footstock.
That season for you, it all kind of clicked in. You had your 33k, and you just felt like you had your rhythm.
I thought I had arrived. Obviously not. I'm going to get back on the bus now and take myself home.
I
Your
tell
big
you
boy
what,
pants on.
for a lot of people, this season, the season that's currently on hiatus, the 1920 season, has been a very steep learning curve for managers who are used to doing incredibly well on FPL. You know, we've already heard from Dave, who was one of them, but it's been a narrative, hasn't it, that a lot of these high flyers have really, really struggled this season. And you know, it takes true experts like the likes of Holly and I to remain steadfast despite those choppy waters.
Oh, I'm thinking of all the great things that have happened in my FPL thing. They're all last year. The only good thing that happened this year was that I picked.
Last year.
I know, right? It's mental how that happens, right? You're only thinking of good times when you were winning. The only thing that happened really this year was when you guys triple captained Mane and I captained Salah, the only person on the pod. That was my highlight, and it was only because of the banter that we had the laugh at the next 2 weeks.
You were the only one that cared.
I know. Well, you guys say that, but you didn't care because you lost.
Yeah, I was that's the angriest I've ever been at fantasy football, I think.
And it's all because I made you guys triple captain.
Oh, we did that on the stream, didn't we?
God,
We did that
so
like where
angry.
you had to
For
click
clock roulette.
Oh yeah.
Luckily,
Luckily,
I was in a really good place in life, so it didn't impact me too much. But honestly, I was
how's
so
your life
angry.
been since, mate?
It's all gone downhill. It's all gone
Still
downhill
single.
since then. Still single, yeah. But yeah, no, that really, I found that very, very annoying.
Ben, who did you captain in that infamous week?
I think I was Marnie as well.
Oh yes,
I
another
got
one.
sucked that in, following timelines, and
Following me.
yeah, the hype. But started to believe the hype.
Oh man,
Had me pants pulled right down.
Shout out to Flapjack for making me go Salah because he was the least owned of the two. Belter. Well done,
God,
mate.
I was bitter about that. I was so bitter. You know how sometimes you reach a point of anger of FPL where you almost relinquish any care about it? That's where I got to. It was like the anger was such that I just thought, I cannot get this angry at fantasy football again. This is ridiculous. And then after that, I've had like a shift in how I perceive it as being like, this needs to be a game. This cannot be.
Yeah.
This cannot dictate my emotions
We've all
this
been there.
strongly.
We've
It's like
all
a
been there.
formative moment for me.
I don't care about the triple captainship. It's just
A loser.
Holly is so rogue. The thing is that I kind of agree with Holly. I think it's the least valuable chip, but it's the most exciting when it goes well.
Yes.
It's the most.
It never goes well.
No, that's
Does it
well.
go well?
Join the club, Holly. Join the club. Apparently, it does for some people.
It's got the biggest range of a chip, I think. You can get 70 points with it, or you could get -1 or -2 points with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
that's
could-
so
No,
true.
it's that -1 and -2 are not multiples of 3, Dave.
Oh, but what if the
True.
guy gets -1? It's times it by 3, so it would be -1 if you got a -1, right?
Be -3.
No, it would be -3.
Title.
-1 multiplied by 3 is -3.
Right. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay.
My head is in my hands.
Why did I think that?
We've had all these challenging.
Mane got us 3 points.
Right. Okay.
1.
Well, I didn't have
times
him. I
3.
had Salah, and I got fucking
He's
26 points or some shit. So
That's
Yeah.
not a multiple of 3 either.
all right. It was 27. Get fucked. Honestly.
I love how I've had all these really complicated maths questions that Dave's done really well on, and then -1 multiplied by 3 turns out to be his Achilles heel.
There you go.
That's all we needed to ask. All right.
I might
thank
do
you.
a negative number question next week just to.
Oh, yeah. Negatives are hard.
Guess who edits the podcast?
If you have 2 negatives, it's positive, isn't it? In life and in maths.
That's not true. If I punch you and you punch me, we're not both okay.
It's true. It's true. All right. I'm going to call it there. Thank you for sharing your finest moments on FPL. Next week, listeners, we're going to be discussing our least finest moments. We kind of already have a little bit with the Mane. I mean, I've discussed mine. Just cannot help but dwell on the negative. But we'll go more into that. And I think that, like I said earlier, will probably be a slightly longer conversation. We'll be talking about something else as well that is as yet to be determined, but we'll think of something. Rushy, any more ideas, mate? Let us know, please. Listeners, you've probably got a bit of spare time at the moment. If you do, and you've appreciated our lockdown episodes, why not dedicate 7 seconds of your spare time to giving us a very quick review on your preferred podcast platform? I haven't asked in a while. And then I looked at the Fantasy Weekly podcast and realised we hadn't had a review since like July 2019. So if you wouldn't mind, it really does help us out. And obviously, you know, I mean, we've been grateful to you for tuning in, but it's been challenging on some weeks, particularly during lockdown, to keep it interesting, to keep it fun. Hopefully we've done that. We probably haven't kept it interesting, but hopefully we've kept it at least fun. And
we've kept it going.
We've kept it going. That's it, Ben. Exactly. Like, we've kept it going. We've kept it going. We're still releasing episodes. Anyway, that's it. This is why I don't do review plugs, because I'm shite at them.
You can't do anything you haven't written down. It's so funny, man.
The thing is, I have written it down. That's the thing. It's here.
So are you saying that the last time there was a review done on the podcast, it was a panel of 2, and now you are the only person that's remaining?
No, I think the last time a review was actually written, it was July 2019. We've had reviews since that have just been like stars. But we haven't had like a written review. I think the most recent.
So I can put Ben Dinner as a great addition. On my review.
You can. Are you going to review it yourself, Holly?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I might have reviewed it already, but
you better give it 5 stars.
Give Ben 5 stars.
I think the last written review we had was, the title was "Host is Annoying," and then the subject of the review was "Op the General." 3 stars. So
we've moved on since then.
So we need to push that one down a little bit.
Oh yeah, from Keelan from Ireland, who wasn't
I reckon
related
it was
to the
Mark.
general.
I reckon it was Mark.
Tosser.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers, Ben. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that.
Oh no, I was talking about you. Big up him.
And thank you all for listening. We will speak to you next time. Appreciate all the feedback. Good night,
Yes.
everyone.
Good night.